Hi, hello, hello, everybody out there. I hope you had a good day today. Mine was good. My son didn't allow it to be too productive, but I had a good day with him. And tonight, I just decided to come on and tell you about restoration and being restored. Um, I'm introducing my book. Most of you already know about it. There you go, restoration. I had the cutest experience yesterday where I was in the Maranatha bookstore. I'm there most Sundays because it's right outside church. So after church, I go to Maranatha. And a little girl, she was in the bookstore and she came up to me and she tapped my clothes because she's like this little girl. And she tapped my clothes and she had my book in her hand and she said, "This is you?" And I was like, "Yes." And she said, "Okay." And she went back. And that was the cutest experience. I think that was so awesome. But yes, so Restoration is my book. And the name of the book is Being Made Whole After the Reality of Abortion. And this book took a lot to write. Um, Someone asked me recently, she said, "So, how long it took you to write this book?" And I said, 3 years. And she was like, "What?" And I said, "Yes, it took 3 years to complete this book because it is so personal. And this is a very hot topic now. And it's not a hot topic because um, it's so it's nice. It's a hot topic because it's so political. Um, it's a political topic and it's something that groups use to push agendas that are not healthy. And feminists push this topic because they are quote unquote pro-choice. But it's strange to me that feminists push this topic when abortion damages a female so much. And the objective of this book, or one of the objectives of this book rather, is to reintroduce the human conversation about abortion. We are so accustomed to hearing it's about women's rights and it's about having the ability to choose and it's about my body, my business, and I can do what I want with it, and no one can tell me what I can and cannot do. But no one discusses what happens after. No one discusses how it can affect you and how it can hurt your mind, how it can hurt your body. No one talks about the fact that it leaves some women sterile. Actually, I know a lady, she had a few abortions, and when she finally met the man that she's married to, she couldn't have children because of the previous abortions. No one is discussing sterility. No one is discussing how it hurts your mind, how it hurts your spirit, how it hurts your emotions. No one discusses the scars. And this is what this book is about. It's about discussing the scars. It's telling you how I got there, what happened during the process, and the hole that I had to dig myself out of afterwards. So, there's a few chapters. It's a very short book. Most women, they read it in about 5 days, 7 days for the most. But I really wanted to truncate it and for you to get the real meat of the matter about what this really is about, what abortion really does to someone. And it is to also tell people who are contemplating it, this is what happens and why you shouldn't go down that road. So, chapter one, sorry, Chapter 1 talks about my childhood, um, and my experience in a more traditional church versus a non-traditional church. And since chapter 1 is about my childhood, I figured I'd come on and introduce myself. So I am Karen Elias, haha, and I'm an author, and I authored Restoration. And Restoration is my abortion story. You see, although I was in church, I allowed curiosity to get the better of me. I would say it's a curiosity, yeah. I allowed curiosity to get the better of me, and I chose a relationship that I hid, and I chose to have an abortion as a result of getting pregnant. And it was, I would say, I didn't know I was getting myself into. Because you see, because I've been in church for so long, I know church. I know what it's like to be there. I know what it's like to be scrutinized also by people in the church. I know what it's like to be criticized by people in the church. I know what it's like to see serious gossip and serious backstabbing. I know what it's like to see that. And I knew that being pregnant and unwed in the church, that is exactly what's going to happen to me. And I didn't want to go through that. I did not want to go through the backstab. I did not want to go through the criticism. I did not want to go through having to apologize in front of the church and all of these things. And then I knew that I would have to do it alone. I am not a confrontational person. I never was, and I don't think I ever will be a confrontational person. So having to go through some sort of confrontation, then, hi Shannon, then having to go through some sort of confrontation, I was like, whoa, hold up. I'm not doing this. And then I knew that I would have to do it alone. So what's it? I was like, hold up. I'm not doing this by myself. Are you crazy? So I chose the road that I didn't know, thinking that anything was better than being pregnant and unwed in the church. I was like, no, I'm not having this. I'm not doing this at all. So that's why I chose abortion. It may sound harsh, and it may sound bad, but I chose abortion because of the church. I chose abortion because I did not want to be in church and pregnant and single. Um, and yeah, because I knew what that's like, because I knew what it's like to be there and have that experience, I figured anything was better than that. And that's why I chose to abort my baby and to hide what I was doing all along. And it was, I would say, the worst decision that I've ever made in my entire life, because of the scars that is left, because of how it hurt me emotionally and spiritually. I felt as though I was dangling off of the edge of a cliff and I was holding on by a thread. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that feeling? Like, sit right now and think of yourself dangling off the edge of a cliff and you're hanging on by a thread. Like one thread, like the thread we used to sew with. Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah, yeah. Just sit and think about that for a while. And that is how painful that was. That is how that is the kind of repercussion that abortion leaves. That is how some women feel. And if you feel like that, I empathize with you. If you feel as though there's no hope, if you feel like if you can't live like this, you can't walk like this, you can't talk like this. There are so many women, I kid you not, there are so many women walking around your country, your community, and dare I say your church, who are feeling that torment, who are feeling that judgment. Yes, there are so many women walking around feeling that judgment and that torment and that pain and that guilt and that shame. And because of some people in the church, they can't share that. And they are probably walking around feeling like if they're hanging on by a thread off the edge of a cliff and don't know what to do. There are a lot of women out here, hundreds of women that are going through this. Some of them are in a cycle because some of them are having multiple abortions because they've never healed properly from the first one. So they're just walking around and doing the same thing over and over and over because they've never properly healed. Yep. Because they've never properly healed from the first. And they are in pain. They are suffering and they are bruising and they are bleeding, but they are feeling so judged because the message that comes from most churches, I'm not saying all, the message that comes from most churches is one more of condemnation and less of compassion. The message that comes from majority of church leaders are more of attack the sin and less of be healed from the sin. And that is hurting women even more than the act of having lost their child. Because abortion is the loss of a child, it's the loss of a life. And women are not allowed to grieve because they're not taught that this is the loss of a child and they are allowed to grieve for the loss of a child. They may think that because of the circumstances that they're not allowed to, but you are allowed to. So that's what this book is about. This book is about Shannon, you're hilarious. This book is talking about the fact that you are allowed to grieve. This book is talking about the fact that it hurts. And this book is talking a lot about the fact that there are a lot of people walking around there feeling like this. They feel like this was happening inside this book. They feel like this and they don't know what to do. So this book was written for women who are walking around feeling like this and they don't know what to do about it. And you may know someone who has had an abortion. I admonish you to get this book because you may not understand how much they are hurting, and you may not understand how badly they feel inside, and you may not understand why. You may not understand why. And that's one of the problems that we have. We don't sit and ask people why you feel like this, why you make the decision, why you going through. We don't want reasons. We're so quick to judge and we're so quick to condemn sometimes that we stop asking why and we stop wanting to know what's the reason. Why did you do what you do? Why did you say what you said? Why? Why do you feel this way? Why do you keep doing the same thing over and over? Why do you have these habits? Why? We need to be a little more open-minded when we're dealing with women. We need to be a little more understanding when we're dealing with women. I am not saying to accept sin, please. I'm not here for political conversation. I'm here to just be as truthful as possible and bring back the human side to the conversation of abortion. What I'm saying is we need to be more open-minded about why women do what they do, why women feel the way that they feel. We need to get to the root of problems. We need to get to the root of problems. I will say that again. We need to get to the root of problems. Abortion is a symptom. It is a fruit. What is the root of your issue? What is the root of your problem? And we are so quick to judge and we are so quick to talk about certain fruit that we don't ask what is your root, and we don't take time to figure out what is your root. Sometimes we want to patch up a problem and we want to patch up an issue, and we make the people feel worse and they get worse because we're not dealing with the root of the problem. So what is the root? Sometimes we need to ask women that. And this book talks about my root. This book talks about the fact that one, I had low self-esteem. Two, I was not accountable to anybody. And three, I was slipping further and further and further away from God. So when it was time for me to make a decision, I was not making a godly decision. And I did not make a decision that was healthy for me. So that's how I ended up having an abortion, because I was running away from accountability. I was running away from God. I was running away from pure, truthful, spirit-led worship and prayer and scripture reading. And I ended up in a situation, and because I wanted to hide it even further, I ended up with an abortion, which brought me into even more pain and more suffering and more anxiety and more of everything. Definitely, abortion is like putting a band-aid on a deep wound. Um, yeah, it's a fruit. It's a symptom. So what's the root? What is the root? I found my root and I am restored. I found my roots and I was made whole and I was made complete. I found my roots. I found my roots deep, deep back into childhood. And that book talks about it, about how I used to feel as a child, my experiences as a child, and having to dig those roots out. Sometimes it goes way back into childhood, but we are not allowing ourselves to dig that far and to dig that deep because it's going to be painful. Introspection is a painful thing sometimes, especially when we know what we dig up, we're not going to like. Okay. But it's necessary. So I found my roots and now I am whole and I'm healed and I am delivered and I'm set free. I can talk about it. A lot of people can't talk about it. Yeah, a lot of people can't talk about it. And I'm glad that I can talk about it. I'm glad that I can share with women how I feel. I'm glad that I can share with women, um, yeah, I know how you're feeling. I know what it's like to hurt. I know what it's like to feel pain. I know what it's like to feel guilt. I know what it's like to feel shame. And it's not just about abortion. There's so many other things that women have gone through in their lifetime that need to be restored from. Some people need to be restored from incestual relationships. Some people need to be restored from sexual abuse as a child. Some people need to be restored from heartbreak and from bad relationships and from anything that they have done before that they feel guilty of. Some people need to be restored from alcoholism and cigarette smoking and drug addiction. Listen, the list goes on. When I tell you there are hurting women out there, please believe me, there are hurting women out there. And we need to help our sisters out. We need to help our sisters out, definitely. So guys, that's it for me. I did not want to take too long, I respect your time, and I just wanted to come on and introduce the book a little bit and just tell you what it's about, and just start with chapter one. We're just going in the back of your life and your childhood and introducing yourself and taking it from there. So we can do chapter two next week. What do you think? Let me know if you're okay with doing chapter two next week. We'll go through chapter two and we'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll talk about some more issues about abortion. Let's bring the human discussion back. It's not just about being pro-choice and I could do what I want with my body. No, honey child. You're going to be hurting your body. Take what I tell you. Let's talk about what really happens. Yeah. So thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Shannon. You are awesome. Thank you so much for that. Ha, Lucia, my friend. You are my friend, and I love you dearly. Hi, Kyle. I love you. Sure, Shannon. Please start writing. Please start writing. Write your story. There are a lot of women out there who need to know your story. Hi, Ivana. Thank you. Oh, you're such a doll, and your book is waiting for you. Guys, you can get the book in Maranatha Bookstore. There's a branch in Tunapuna, and there's a branch in San Fernando. You can also get the book online on Amazon. You can order the hard copy or the soft copy, the Kindle version, ebook version. It's all there on Amazon. And you can also get personal copies from me. So if you want, you can inbox me or message me anywhere and I will get the book to you. TT is $150 and online the soft copy is $11.95 and the hard copy is $28.95. Those two prices are in US. So you can, and the Kindle version is $3.99. I think. I'll double check. But it's either $2.99 or $3.99 for the ebook version on Amazon. So that is it, you guys. Oh, God bless you too, Tishon. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So good night, guys. It's such a pleasure reaching out and connecting with you. And next week, chapter 2. Good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, Shannon. Good night to Sean. Good night, Ivana. Good night, Lucia. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.